Reddy ji's family, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and senior leaders from diverse parties, friends. I have truly lost an elder, a mentor, a close colleague and friend of many years. Possibly after joining the Congress, I interacted the most for a few years with Mr. Madharav Sindhya and with Pranab Da. And subsequently, the third person with whom I interacted most closely was Jaipal ji. And that interaction continued for almost 10 years, when together we served as spokespersons for the party. He was a wonderful man, an unforgettable man. We used to sit together at his house or at my house for hours, and his great wit and raconteur ability would keep me or a few friends invited spellbound. He was the one who used to say that he is on a continuous basis the longest serving spokesperson. And he said, you are in danger now of becoming the third longest serving spokesperson. He was the one who used to say in spokespersonship it's much more important to prevent a self-goal or a hit wicket than to try and hit a sixer. More recently, he came back for a short while to do some spokespersonship from our Congress podium a couple of years ago, a year ago. And I was aghast that he would get up early in the morning on the day when he was to address a press conference and spend hours researching a particular theme. I said, Jaipalji, you can do press conferences in your sleep now. You don't have to do so much hard work. But he was extremely well researched. He would think of a theme the previous night, research it out, sync it with that day's news, and his press conferences were waited for by the press because there was always a new angle, solid research, solid material, right till post 75th year or 76th year of his life, after having done this job for so long. I also joked with him that your missed vocation is that of a professor. And he would say, not at all. Professors don't know real life, don't know the real world. I believe that I would have been miserable as a professor. We used to sit together and apply his fourfold test, which some of you may not know. He said a person in public life, or for that matter a person anywhere, should be judged by 4 tests: talent, temperament, character and ideology. And we spend many hours actually dissecting individuals, both in public life and not in public life, on that 4-fold test. And I can tell you sometime in private how many did not come through that 4-fold test and how many did. Atla Chalo is being displayed here. There is no better song, poetry than to describe Jaipal Reddy, the man who had the courage of his convictions. It's an open secret that he differed with the government in a particular ministry. Dr. Saab is here. But he stood firm on his commitment and convictions. He applied Atla Chalo repeatedly in his life, and which is why he was a blemishless role model of integrity, of straightforwardness. As the earlier people said, not even his worst enemy would raise a finger on that front against him. He always believed in concepts, in issues, not in persons. He said that I want to be able to write this book, which he spent 2 years writing. When I visited him at his home in Hyderabad, he said, I want to deal with concepts here. Because a lot of what we do in public life, we are so full of it, we are so pompous, but it is very ephemeral. What is perennial or semi-perennial are concepts and issues, many of which he has discussed so ably and so well in that book which he last published. I was amazed how he was so open about his disability. It was embarrassing actually. We would feel hesitant. But very early on, he recited to me this anecdote which is at page 7 of the booklet I just found when I came into this hall. The superstar remains unnamed, but when Jaipalji pulled his leg in Parliament, he told Jaipalji that it seems that you have a problem about my speaking in Parliament, Jaipalji. So Jaipalji said, I have no problem with your silence. This is at page 7 of the booklet. Mr. Reddy, surely you are pulling my leg. The tragedy for you is that I do not have legs for you to pull, but you have rather long legs for me to pull. This he told me himself. And he was very open about his disability and about how he had meticulously conquered it. How he had never let that be a hindrance in his life. Friends, there is so much I can talk about my dear elder and friend Jaipal Reddy. But I would end by saying that he was one of the few people in public life who was an amazing amalgam of both an intellectual, and he never made that word sound like a dirty word, of intellect, and yet of an amazing grasp of ground realities in India. Possibly India's consistently most liberal voice, a consistent amalgam of left of center clearly on social issues, and yet centrist on many economic issues, even slightly to the right on some economic issues, where he believed the good of the country was there. I think there are very few people who can equal this remarkable man's record, and may I end by giving him my very, very deep homage and condolences to the family.